Assalamu alaikum, Imam. The relationship. Now, this is the biggest part of psychology, the biggest part of therapy. The most important aspect in all therapies is the relationship. This is what countless studies show. This is what we know. The relationship between you and the other person matters most. And so I break them down into 6 different categories of adapting to the person in front of you, which enhances the relationship and ultimately, inshallah, positive outcomes. Even if you don't solve the problem for the person, which I hope throughout this series you start to remember that it is not your role to solve their problem. Your role is to help them solve their own problem. Again, we're not talking about them asking a question and you giving them the answer. No, we're talking about somebody comes with a problem. You're not going to be there with them all the time to help them solve it, which is why it's so important to recognize that adapting to a person's stage of change, for example, where are they in the stage of change? Are they even thinking about changing? Are they ready to change? So this will change the way you interact with them. And the 6 that are considered the highest evidence in the field of psychology, I break them down into the acronym CPR and risk. C, culture. P, preferences. R, religion. Yes, religion. It is the highest evidence to adapt to the person's religion in front of you. Now, to you and me, this is obvious. Person's a Muslim, of course. What psychology doesn't know is, well, what are the stages of religious development? I mean, sometimes we'll use Islam, Iman, Ihsan, but how do you quantify that? How do you know somebody's in an Islam state versus an Iman state, for example? So one of the frameworks that I'll be sharing with you is one that you know very well, which is the conditions for Tawheed. العلم واليقين والقبول والانقياد فادري ما أقول والصدق والإخلاص والمحبة وفقك الله لما أحب. So the whole idea is, imagine taking those concepts and knowing instantly where this person is on that spectrum. Some people have a lot of ilm. The yaqeen is missing. Usually with people born and raised, let's say in Canada, don't have a lot of exposure to Islam. They might be questioning some of the basics. Some people have full inqiyad, yeah, they're ready to go, but there's something's missing in their ikhlas. I remember I was in Saudi once, and I was visiting a scholar there. He runs the maktaba, which people claim to be the home of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anywho, and I would constantly visit him, and then somebody would come and visit, and he would say, "Oh, can you talk to this person, please?" Usually I tell him, no, it's not, I'm not here to work. But I did. And one person was an imam there, and he started talking about his problem. And in all honesty, my job there, wasn't to provide counseling. I can provide whatever I can in the moment. And I used this, and it seemed to be accurate. I said, look, when I was concluding, I said, it sounds like, look, you have ilm, you have yaqeen, you have qabul, you have inqiyad, yani, mashallah annak. But maybe there's a problem with your ikhlas here. And so that seemed to resonate with them. And I thought, you know what, this is a model that I should continue on. And now I find it working a lot with a lot of Muslims. So adapting to the person's religion, this is a very important aspect. These are the things that you already know. Adapting to the culture. You know that the people that you talk to, they range in different cultural areas. So how do you adapt to somebody who's from this culture or that? This is how the relationship gets stronger when you're able to adapt to these things. The stages of change, reactance, and coping styles, these are things that, yes, I'll bring a lot of psychological knowledge into that. Reactance is people who feel like their autonomy, their freedom is being taken away, they're going to react to it, which is why I strongly discourage parents bringing in their children to the imam, because automatically they're reactant. And sometimes they expect to hear something from you and they'll reject it. Even in those cases, I'll provide you some strategies and techniques on how to enhance that relationship with them. Again, knowing full well that you might already have that mastered and ready to go. But if not, well, better safe than sorry, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.